thank you, Peyush, for doing this. I know you've been in a whirlwind sort of last few days. So really appreciate you coming here and taking the time.
Pleasure is all mine. And, I was here last year, so
Yes.
it's a full circle.
Yes, it is a full circle. So Lenskart was startup of the year, 2024. You are 10 days away from listing. How does it feel?
Well, I think firstly, I'm really humble. It's a full circle. Last year we were celebrating a story. Today we are taking it to the world. I think, overall, I think IPO is an important milestone in a company's journey. But somehow it still feels like day one when the dream is to give vision to 1 billion people. And so a lot more to do, and now it feels like it's not just our dream, it is India's dream to create a global eyewear company for the world.
It seems like the last few days would be something that you would have typically not factored in. And obviously I'm talking about the immense amount of chatter, especially on social media, that happened. How did you take it? And, we have a room full of entrepreneurs who are on the verge of going public, are planning to do so in the next year or so. How does the frame of mind change for you from being privately held with a private board and now to list and have public shareholders?
Well, we are about to get there. See, Backlash means that people care, right? I would say. And us being a consumer brand which has got so much love from people, in some ways, we have to be quite normal as entrepreneurs for this to happen. And I think it is also a learning journey for us. And this coming right at the beginning of it, I would say, is a blessing in disguise. So so I take it in a positive way. Eventually, I think at the end of it, we are getting, this is about being a public company now. And public cares about Lenskart, they care about the value we'll create for them. So yeah, as entrepreneurs, we need to continue to make sure we are creating, we continue to work hard every day and create value for all our stakeholders, including our shareholders, employees, customers, everybody.
So when we were chatting, you also mentioned how when you went to Shark Tank, it is very different from being, in the startup world. It throws you into the mainstream. And you said something which clicked with me. You said after being on Shark Tank, you could take all of the criticism that was unfolding on social media. I want to understand from you that, now that the Indian startup ecosystem is got about 35, 40 companies in the public markets, how do you kind of train yourself from the very beginning to have, the kind of, mindset that you need to brace, criticism and the kind of stuff that you saw over the last 3-4 days?
See, firstly, I would say Shark Tank has done some training for me, right? To be in the public world, but criticism is not always, is not a negative thing, right? It's a positive thing. I mean, I remember when I first started, I started the company, the name of the company was called Enable India. And everybody used to criticize me, no matter where I go. If I go to a gathering and people would say, this is the man which will enable India, right? So in some ways it is also positive criticism because you have to read through it, you have to learn from it, you have to understand, okay, is there something we can do better? But at the same time, you have to have your own view, right? It's important to listen to everybody's view, but then also have your own point of view. And I think that is also very important so that you know that you stay course in the whole thing. So yeah, I think, when I was at Microsoft, I did only one job, and in my mid-year review, my manager said that I handle criticism really well. That was the only positive thing she has written about me. So I think, so I think that is working well today.
Yeah. So, you know, I want to also ask you that, you know, your anchor book got subscribed by a lot of foreign investors. And typically in the last year or so, we've seen domestic participation actually pull through a lot of IPOs. What is it that you're seeing as you list in another 10 days in terms of the perception of the overall Indian, you know, startup and tech ecosystem when you're talking to investors, especially the ones sitting outside of India?
See, firstly, I'm really grateful and humbled by the faith both Indian investors, mutual funds, FIIs, retail investors, our own employees, you know, have shown in the company. It's still day one. I mean, we are not through the finish line in any sense, but it's been really, I'm really grateful for everybody for putting so much faith and trust in Lenskart and in the dream of Lenskart, you know, with what we are trying to do in terms of giving vision to 1 billion people. I think as a consumer brand, and you know, we are still very early in the journey of what we want to do, and we, you know, like I said, we truly care about every investor that come in. We always have. Sudhir is sitting here, Ronnie is sitting here, some of our early investors. I'm sure there are a few here who I'm not able to see right now with all that glare on my face. And I think we need to just put our head down, like Abhiraj said, and continue to work hard every day. IPO is an important milestone, but it is a pit stop in a longer journey. And I think, I would say India, you know, Indian companies have a lot of potential. We have so much to do with AI coming in the picture. It's a whole new journey altogether.
Yeah. You know, I want to bring you in on the point of innovation. Now, you look especially at the US and even China at this point, there is a massive AI wave, and everybody, you know, who is anywhere close to tech is only talking about AI. Now, when you look at India, consumer is actually still pretty big and growing, and companies like you are going public. How do you kind of keep pace with what is happening in the West in the tech space, and do you think India can catch up?
So firstly, I would say, I do think there is a lot of AI happening in India, right? I won't say that it's only happening in US and China. I understand maybe the level at which it is happening there and where it is happening here may, you know, it may seemingly seem different. And I was chatting with Satyan about it today. But I don't think, you know, when you say in India, you see consumer companies going public, AI or technology are means to an end, right? At the end of the day, you're creating a consumer proposition. And I am very sure that, you know, all Indian companies, I know at Lenskart for sure, Amit, my co-founder, is here. Like we talk about, we are high on AI in many ways, right? There's so much possibilities. There are so many things that we are doing internally on AI, whether it is the AI smart glasses.
Are you wearing one of those?
Yeah, I'm wearing one of those right now. The Lenskart ones, which are about to come out. Or, you know, for us, we've always wanted to, you know, bring eye test on the phone, for an example. And it was always a dream that, you know, because we have only 35 to 40 optometrists for 1 million people in India. And we have over 500 million people in India who need vision correction and they don't have it. And even if we extrapolate it and we think, okay, how will 35, 40, even if they became 80, how will we give vision to 1 billion people? And I think as AI became big and powerful, now we can think about those things and we can deploy teams and engineers to do this. So I think there is AI happening in all the companies. It's definitely happening a lot at Lenskart. I definitely think 2 years hence, forward, you'll see what tech companies will be able to do with the help of AI. So it is happening. We have a long way to go. I would say the good part, I think, is as companies become profitable, right? At Lenskart, I think we've been profitable now for 3 years and generating cash flow now. Our ability to invest in R&D becomes higher, right? Because one thing which we need to do in India more, where I think maybe the West does a better job, is invest in future long-term R&D. Because some of these things are not overnight. It's not about just developing a small feature. If you want to do revolutionary, then that matters. You know, with these smart glasses, we had to take a very bold bet, you know, because if you look at the past ecosystem of electronic or wearables in India, we have mostly been importers. We have not been at and maybe we started building software, but we were not building hardware or firmware. So we were importing hardware, firmware, and software initially. Then we started writing some layers of software. And as we were doing this, I think there was a big choice in front of us. The easier choice, of course, is to just import everything and maybe write some top layer. Or the tougher choice was that, okay, we will put an engineering team here, which will do full stack all the way from hardware, firmware, and we will get control of the data, right? We don't want to be just a distributor of glasses and someone else doing the tech and the data goes to them.
So how much of all of this is done in-house for you?
All of it, right? And I think it's maybe and that is the important part, because these paths are not short term. They require time. This is not like, okay, if I want to launch a pair of glasses quickly, you can do it. I mean, we have to first go tie up with Qualcomm, convince them that an Indian company can use an AR1 chip and do this. Then you had to find engineers which are there in India. They're working, a lot of them work for the international companies. Get the team to assemble and then have that faith and believe that we will get there. And then find the manufacturers who usually are working on for global products like the Apple AirPods or, you know, the Google Pixel, and say, okay, you know, for us, the most difficult conversation was when we went to some of the manufacturers. They said, we work for Apple AirPods. We've never really built for an Indian brand. And they're like, so what? They're like, okay, but will you be able to do it? Will you be able to design it? And, you know, I think but I think we are there. I mean,
How much of your manufacturing now is in India? What percentage?
About 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you a retail company or a tech company? Because, and I'm asking that because, you know, while all of this valuation conversation was happening, I think that came up a lot. And if you are a tech company, how do you kind of present your case? Because what people see are stores of Lenskart.
Yeah, I think I always say one thing: we are a consumer company, right? At the end of the day, we serve our consumers, and we have to create enthusiastic consumers all the time. Many years back, when Lenskart was opening stores, did not have stores, there was this discussion that are you going to be a retail company? I think at the end of the day, you're a consumer company. You have to create delightful consumers. Technology, AI are means to do this. I mean, would you say Uber is a tech company or it is a cab company? I mean, that's the question we are asking. Now, coming to the second part of the question, how are we leveraging tech in the ecosystem? I think at all levels, right? Tech in some ways becomes a DNA of the company. Whether we look at, like, let's just talk about eye testing. I mean, today, there is no way other than technology for you to do enough eye tests that you can solve the problem of visual correction in India or even Asia. Okay? We today have almost more people than in US, in India, who need vision correction, and we don't have optometrists. Right? So the only answer we have found in that in the last so many years is being able to build solutions. And so what we built is a remote optometry solution where an optometrist who was doing 10, 12 eye tests is now doing 40, 50. Then that moved into a solution which is now deployed in Japan, where you're sitting in front of a machine, but there is no optometrist on the other side, and you're talking to an AI agent and doing an eye test. right? And so that is big area. So we did about 6 million eye tests in FY23 as a whole. We did 5 million eye tests this quarter 1. It won't be possible without technology. Right?
Last quick question. Minister Goyal is already here. Welcome, sir. Just on, in another 10 days, when you're listed, what is the pressure that you feel as a public company? Is it on profitability? Is it on catching up with your valuation? Is it the expectations of, shareholders? Where are you at 10 days from now, Peyush?
See, at the end of the day, I was talking to Abhiraj when he came here and I asked him कि कैसा चल रहा है? That was my answer. He's like, यार सब कुछ same ही है, right? पहले भी काम कर रहे थे, अभी भी काम कर रहे हैं, right? उतना ही काम कर रहे हैं. So I think pressure is always there, right? To make sure that when you have dreams that audacious, when you are serving 30 million customers and you want to serve 1 billion people, there is always pressure. There's moral pressure, there's dream pressure, there's, I am always discontent that way. So, and rest we'll take it as it comes. And, it's time to jump to the next curve and, fulfill the dream.
Great. Congratulations. And hoping for a great success for you as you IPO.
Thank you for all the love and thank you. Congratulations to all the winners this year.